everyone, and welcome to the first Founders Live for Austin in 2021. My name is Joy, and I'm the city leader of Austin. And I have a co-host here today, Allison Bell. Please introduce yourself, Allison.
First off, I want to say hi to everybody. Now, my name is Allison Bell, and I'm the head of community and people at Founders Live. But so first things I want to know, I want everybody to be, this is a two-way interaction. This is not just us talking. So first off, I want to know, where are you guys listening from? Oh, where is it? There we go. Yeah, so this is my first time doing this too, so be patient. But yeah, super excited to be here. We're launching in Austin. And so a little bit about me. So I got involved with Founders Live. I think it was back in November of 2019. I was at this networking event and somebody asked me, Allison, why are you a recruiter? You should be a business consultant. You should own your own business. And I was like, great question. I should. So for 2 weeks, that kind of just sat and kind of like resonated in my head. And after a while, I decided to go to work. I worked at a co-working space called Galvanize. I told myself I would just pretend I own my own business for a day. So that day, I got 3 new clients. And that evening, I attended a Founders Live event. And since I was hosting like a Toastmasters club, we only had 4 founders. So they had me come up and like, Allison, why don't you come pitch your new company idea? And I was like, talking about how it was going to revolutionize how we did recruiting. Everyone loved it. So that night I quit my job and I started my own company, which went great until COVID hit. And then I still remember the first event I promoted for was in January. And I remember after that event, I received 2 text messages from these people that said, Allison, I'm so happy you posted online and like let us know about this pitch competition. It's the best thing. Great experience. We didn't win, but I'm really glad I attended. And I was like, aw, that's awesome. So then I met Nick. And I mean, there's a lot of things I love about Founders Live, but the core values are awesome. So I've gone to my success through people opening up the doors for me. So of course, opening up doors, I think that's awesome. And like for every founder, when you open a door for them, it's like the most valuable thing you can do for them. So today at this event, when you see a founder and you know somebody that you can make an introduction to, do that because, it makes all the difference. Next, I really like the whole, Founders Live is about everybody. It's about bringing entrepreneurship to everywhere in the world and all different types of founders instead of just being white males. So that really connected with me. So then as I decided to close down my recruiting firm, I was like, well, I really want to be a consultant. Like I went to school, got my master's in industrial organizational psychology. I studied business consulting, but then I was like, how do you become a startup consultant? Super competitive. It's a guy dominated industry. So I was like, well, I need to go work for a startup and I need to, take it from here to there. So I knew Nick, I'm friends with him. So I was like, I saw some things I could help out with. And at first I was like, well, I'm just going to be here to help our city leaders have a better experience. Just like Joy, when she reached out to me, she said, Allison, it's my first event. I'm a little nervous. We want to do a co-host? And I was like, yeah, I have no idea how to do the event, but I am happy to be here. So I really bring that. And I think that that's very important. If you want to have a great brand, you need to take care of your people. When you take care of your people, then they'll take care of your customers. And especially for us, I am so thankful that we have all these city leaders. They volunteer their time for us. So me and Nick came together and we're like, yeah, we should make it a really great experience. So regardless of how long they spend with us, they know that when they, after they spend the time with us, they're like, you know what? I've learned so much. It was really valuable. And I want them leaving better than they came in. So I kind of helped Nick out with that. And then as time progressed, I was like, well, we should have a bigger community. So now I'm helping build the community and we have lots of really exciting things going on. So I've talked to lots of investors and I found out that the number one reason that people don't get investment is people just they don't know how to tell their story. They don't know how to connect. Now, learning to tell great stories, I know that's the only reason I do well in sales. That's probably the only reason that I'm well connected on LinkedIn. Probably the only reason that I've gotten all these opportunities I've gotten in my life is because I've learned to tell great stories. And just like Melissa, she's our pitch coach up in Seattle. When you learn to tell great stories, it absolutely opens doors. So we are launching the Pitch Club, where we're going to help entrepreneurs learn how to tell great stories. And after once you get that down, we'll actually make introductions to investors. So we are looking for beta group of a small group of founders to start and just kind of really, we want about co-creation. We don't want it to be, we want to create something together and find out how we can help you to really maximize your success as a startup. And then, of course, we send all our startup founders, we send them a link to join our community, because being connected to other people going through something you're going through is really valuable. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. But love Founders Live, love that I'm here. Thank you so much, Joy, for this experience and this opportunity to be a part of this.
Yes, so happy to have you here today, Allison. And I just want to give a shout out to some people in the audience today. So we have people from Denver, Austin. I see we have someone from Indonesia here. That's pretty awesome. Thank you guys all for being here today. We're really excited to just put on this presentation for you for all the startups that we have today, as well as some really cool speakers. Actually, our first speaker today is going to be Alex Solinsky. He's a fractional COO and startup consultant at Tech in Startups. So we're going to be starting off with him today. Here we go. Hey, Alex, how's it going?
Hi, it's going great. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
It's always such a pleasure. I mean, since I met you, I remember when I first met you with Sean. That was kind of funny, though. He tried to set us up on a date, but he's really cool. He's actually in Colombia. So I want you to talk a little bit about your time in Colombia and a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in Colombia since October. It's pandemic season, and I've found that it's a really great place to be and connect. Actually, this city is working on being the software valley of Latin America. And already there's a lot of talent here. The Latin American Design Conference was here last November. And so it's been a great place to source talent to share with founders, which is a fraction of what I do as a person who scales companies really, really quickly.
That's awesome. So what's your background at Tech and Startups? And tell us a little bit about Tech and Startups as well.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been in Silicon Valley for about 10 years, working in companies big and small. My background is engineering, it's business analysis, product management. I sort of began my tech career as a technologist that communicated to the business and explained how technology works to the business. And then I gradually transitioned to the other side. All those times that I'd be on the technology side, I was so angry with the salesperson who sold something in without telling us what they were doing. Until like 5 years later, when I did it to my own team, when I was working with a client in India, sold something in without consulting my team, but saved the company about $3 million over the next couple of years. Wow. So that's the experience. And then I've just started to be asked to help friends in my network in building and scaling their company, bringing some of the best practices of the very large organizations that I've worked in and for, like Verizon, like Optum Health, and bring that into companies that are ready to expand. So I'm working with founders all the time, and especially founders who, as founders, we start in the grind and we're doing everything because we have to, because everything is our baby. But then we get to this point where all of our hard work has led to success. And the punishment for our success is we need to start releasing responsibility, share the work, and scale the team from like our 5 or 10 people to 50 or 100 people. And as you know, when things grow too fast, they break. And so I've learned to help put in the systems and the routines and the structure of human beings so that they don't break and that we can scale quickly, but also sustainably.
Sure. So I guess the strategy here is strategic scale is what you're saying.
I would say so. That's a good way to put it.
So I guess my next question would be, what is the biggest piece of advice that you can give our founders that are pitching today to help them scale their businesses?
Well, one is to know where you're at. So if you're at a play, we want to get you at the least amount of work with the most impact. That's familiar, right? And so it could be, for example, that you've been going for a long time and your developers are also the project managers, or your developers are also your QA. It's the right thing to do in the beginning. In fact, even as a person who was in the role of product manager for a long time, I would tell people, they'd say, do I need a product manager? And I would say, do you have a QA department? No. Well, then you're not ready for it. You don't need a product manager. Get QA first. So it's just thinking about what's the small investment, what's the small change you're going to make for the position that you're at right now.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Awesome. What would you say is a huge mistake that you see founders make?
Ooh, that's really interesting. I think founders can be unwilling. I think founders can hold on to all the responsibility for too long. And there's a good reason for that. The reason is that you care about this thing you've built the most of anybody. No one can do it as well as you, right? And people will say that leaders like that, they'll say that you're being controlling, you're micromanaging. They'll say all these things about what the leader's doing. Something about even take it to their personality. They must just be this kind of type A control freak person. I don't think that's it. I don't find that to be the case. What I find to be the case is that these founders have not yet gotten the proof from their organization and from their team that they can hold the responsibility in the same way. So a lot of my work with founders is showing them how to get that proof. You hired good people, right? You asked people to join you on a mission. They're around you because you believe that they believe in the mission, that you believe they're capable of doing the work you put out the job description for. Something about them inspired you to invite them on this mission with you. So you know that they're good, but you haven't gotten the proof yet. And so that's kind of the step in between what I do it all, and the you do it all is we do it together. And so there are ways to transition the responsibility, call it in education, the gradual release of responsibility. I have it all, rather than say, okay, I'll give this to you, you do it. Oh, you failed? I knew you would. Give it back. Right? That's what happens. We say, okay, I do it. I would like you to do it. Let's do it together for a while. And again, gradually release the responsibility to your organization. And that's the way your organization proves to you that they can hold it. And then you know you can let go. And what you're letting go of is going to be held by your organization. So I don't know if I'd call that like a mistake. It's a very common struggle. And it's that point in the middle that's just hard to play with.
I actually have a comment on that. So one thing that people I think leaders don't know, that when you let's say you tell somebody, oh yeah, I believe in you, I'm gonna let you have this, and then when you keep on when you kind of look like you don't believe in them, it then makes employees actually not believe in themselves. Like if you don't trust your employees, it will also make them not trust themselves. When if you're a leader and you say, no, I trust you, I know you can do this, even if it's a little bit of a stretch, but that's good. People need to be stretched. But what they need is somebody to be like, no, I know you got this. They're like, oh, I got this. And they will go ahead and they will surprise you every time. And I think sometimes it's a lot of that. If you expect that to happen, if you expect them to fail, or you expect them not to be able to handle it, they won't. You set that up for failure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. And our job is to support the excellence. There's this trap that you can fall into, because if you're already in the space of I knew it wouldn't work, right? That's already in your mind that no one can do this. I can't give this up because no one can do it. If you've got that in your mind, you'll be tempted to reinforce it in your interactions. But if you're saying, I have a question for you, and it's not a gotcha, it's not because I'm trying to catch you, my teammate, in the act of not having this, but are you aware about this thing? Are you aware that you could do this in a different way? We say it to then go, cool, I understand that you weren't aware of that. Let's do it together. Because if we do it together, then I know the next time you'll be even better. And so we can adopt that kind of attitude, because what happens, you're like, well, of course I should have done it because I'm the only one who has this information. Well, let's change that. What's the way to change that? Oh, you didn't have it? Let's do it together.
Love it.
Absolutely. That's a great point that you made. Just being a leader and trusting your employees, and they'll trust you back, and they'll work harder to maintain that trust. So I definitely think you hit it right on the head there.
And have you ever, not to interrupt, but have you ever cleaned a room or organized a closet or something like that? It's very similar. You pull everything out, and it's a big mess, and it's a lot more work. And that's what people say. They say, I can't. I'd be faster for me to do it myself, which is true in the moment. It's true in the moment,
Right.
but in the scale of your organization, it is not true at all. It's an investment. It's a mess. It's a time that you got to pull things out of the closet. You got to go find that piece of documentation, maybe write it. It is more effort in the transition, but if you don't do the transition, then you don't get to come out the other side of this and then go. What happens is these founders are great, are amazing at being driven executors. They execute. But a CEO of a mature, scaled up organization is no longer an executor, they're an executive. And so we need to transition from, I know it's executive in the company and the title, it's CEO. I get it. It says in the title. Now you got to learn how to be it. And so it's stop doing and start defining and communicating. I don't even really use delegating that much because it has baggage. But what you're doing is you stop doing and you begin defining and communicating.
Yeah, I have a perfect example. So, Nick is probably the one that city leaders will typically like lean on for him to like when they're first starting and like, I'm going to step up to the plate. He's like, yeah, Allison, you got this. And then like, so did I text him like crazy yesterday? Like yesterday I was like, Joy, I can't text him anymore. I cannot text him anymore. It's like 8:30. I'm like, oh gosh, this is past the time for texting. But no, he was super helpful. He walked me through some more things today. And then what's really funny is like right before it was starting, he's like, Allison, don't forget to hit like. So that would actually tape. And I was like, you so know me. I was like, yeah, I totally forgot to hit go live. But no, and now it's like now he doesn't have to do that anymore. He doesn't have to always be the person to jump into these events. Now he can have me kind of help out with that. So I think that Nick did a great job at that. I'm really happy that he's learning to delegate in terms of letting go of some things. And I thought that was a perfect example.
I love that.
Yeah. I think we're kind of all in startup and growth mode here today. But with that being said, what would you say is, I guess, the biggest lesson you learned over the past, year or so because of, last year and how difficult it was for a lot of startups to thrive and continue to scale. So what would you say about, your past year?
I think something that surprised me a lot in my lessons of the last year is we often want to look at, we kind of take business and we say, this is in the box of business, right? And we take innovation, we put in the box of innovation, and we forget that there are a lot of humans around and you're one of the humans. And so learning some emotional presence becomes really important and something maybe I wasn't as aware of or sensitive to. And an example of that is I have someone who I work with who's a founder of an AI-driven commerce and fashion startup in London, and we'll talk. And she says, "I'm tired. I'm wiped out. I'm stressed. I'm all these things. I haven't eaten yet. I haven't gone for a walk." And the conversation we have sometimes is, you know what? The very best thing you can do for your startup, for your dream, for your baby right now, is to stop being with it for an hour or two and go take a walk and go get a healthy meal and like get good sleep tonight. Like that. I know we're on deadlines. We have investors to please. We've got to make sure we're on top of this release. I know. And at the same time, sometimes the best thing you can do for this mission you're on is to walk away from it. Or even say like, I'm really uncomfortable right now, and be present with the discomfort, the anxiety, the grossness of the whole thing, to acknowledge like this is really friggin' hard, and just be with that and be okay. Like, wow, this is hard. There are parts of this that are really hard. So that's something I think I wasn't as present to before this year, and the events of the year have allowed me to become more present to.
I have a question. It's more a comment. Like, obviously, you post on Founders Live, which we appreciate. We love your posts. They're absolutely amazing. But I really like when you said, was it trial by hire or hire by trial?
Yeah,
but I thought that was a great principle. I thought you could share about that.
Yeah, I'd love to. So we're building teams and we're building them fast. A lot of the ways that people interview and try to look, the thing is, like, we're not HR people, most of us, and we're not psychologists or mind readers. And we try like kind of get into these fun games, or we do what we've seen before in HR and hiring, and it's behavioral interviewing, or it's, I have this great question. How do you keep your closet organized? Do you put salt on your food before you eat it? And these things, they're cute, and they're not clever, but they're cute, but they're not useful. And so one thing is, when I'm looking for people, I really only care about two. I usually say two. I'll say for this conversation, 2.5 things. I care, can you do the work? Can you do the work with my team? And a little bit, do you get my mission? Can you be on my mission at least a little bit? Can you be with me on this thing? But that's it. So how do I?
You don't want to like them?
I guess. I mean, I want to work well.
You don't want to get along with them?
I want to work well with them, and I want them to work. So the like is a part of that, I suppose.
But you don't want ours to be absolutely hate, right?
No, absolutely not. But if I'm not careful with that, then it gets into this place where I'm like, well, my gut says.
Yeah.
And I don't have a lot of trust for when people says, I think if your gut's strong, then you go with your gut. But a lot of times people say, my gut says, my intuition says, and it's like, we have to validate that. It's okay to have a gut and intuition, but let's validate it. So it's a good point. So how do I figure out what questions am I going to ask them to figure out if they can do the work, and if they can do the work with my team? There aren't any. I mean, I can start to kind of play with it.
If you were a kitchen appliance, what kind of appliance would you be, and why? I'm just kidding. I got it from Google though. But I know it doesn't mean anything.
I think it's a great dinner topic.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's a lovely question to break the ice at a dinner party.
Or on a date or something. Yeah,
absolutely. So trial by hire is this idea that I do have an interview, but I don't go, for those of us who have been candidates, it's like, here, come in for this interview. Okay, come in for another. When will this end? Do this homework assignment. I put in 5-6 hours and then sometimes maybe the company goes cold on me. That's not a good relationship. Here we have 1 or 2 conversations, and then I say, I feel good about this. So there is some gut. There is some, I enjoy talking to this person. I think they'll get along with my team. It seems like they could do the work, judging by what they've shown me of their past work, the way they're showing me things now. So, okay, let's try it out. So I put them on a trial. It could be, depending on the role, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. A trial has a task. A trial has a timeline. A trial has a performance rubric, and a trial has a follow-up meeting. And so I give them the task. I know what success is, and they know what success is. That's the rubric. The timeline is, how long is this thing going to be? And then a time for us to check in and see how we feel. And if I feel good and my team feels good, because the task always involves the team in some way, they're going to have to interact with the team to get the task done. That's important. At the end of that, if everyone feels good, this is probably going to be great. If any one person, including the candidate, is like, this doesn't feel good. Okay, good to know. We found that out in a day, a week, or a month, rather than 3 months and an impending deadline later. So it just works out better that way. I like to date before I get married.
Right. Alex. I do have just a question, just piggybacking off of that. For our founders, they don't have a ton of, cash lying around to hire the most expensive developer or CTO or CFO. So how do you, or what do you think is the best way to kind of go about having, bootstrapping your company, but also having that star talent, on your team?
Yeah, that's awesome. I think about that a lot. I think there are two really important things to consider. One is that fractional is an option. I work as a fractional COO. Normally, if you bring on a COO, that could cost as much as $250K annual, plus a piece of your company. But I come in on a much smaller level because I'm here as part-time, and I'm just giving you what you need. I'm trying to give you the most impactful thing, exactly what you need, and no more, no fluff, So you can do the same thing with a lot of roles. So I would say fractional, part-time. You can bring people in at a level of commitment that's lower than full-time. So that's one thing to think about The next thing you can think about is you don't have to be so caught up in the pedigree. So you don't have to search for this top university. They came out of this company. You can, again, if you do a trial, you can say, this person's very competent and they work well with my team and they can do it. Someone from Stanford can do it. Probably someone else can too. So open yourself up to those opportunities brings your runway out a little bit.
Yeah, no,
Alex.
that's a great point.
So I'm looking in like our private chat, and I have the founders going, "Hey, how do we connect with Alex?" And I was like, "You know what, guys? You guys." So he's a sponsor of ours, a partner of ours. He's one of my favorite consultants. I adore him to death. But guess what? You guys are all gonna get a free session with him. So all you guys, we will connect you guys, but he will absolutely sit down with each one of you and spend some time. So definitely. Pick his brain. He's a smart guy. He's got a ton of great knowledge. And that's why I brought him on. So thank you so much, Alex.
Alex?
Your final
Hey, thanks so much for having me. I'm just happy to be here and be in support. I'm a big fan of contributing as much as I can. So anytime that we spend together, I'm always going, okay, what did we learn from the conversation? What's the next action going to be? And when am I going to check in on you to make sure we got it done?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you.
You
Take care, guys.
rock. Thank you so much. Isn't he so much fun?
So much fun. I'm so glad he was here. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and transition into, well, Allison, did you want to kind of introduce the Startup Bootcamp?
Yeah, actually I am. Here, actually, we're going to have Idelia go first. So we're going to have her go first.
Okay.
You know, I thought these banners would be a lot easier to use than I'm not that great with them, but you can do that then. But let's bring Idelia up. She's with Screaming Box, and the winner of the pitch competition will actually get 16 hours with Screaming Box. So I want everybody to get to know who Screaming Box is. So I'm actually going to leave the screen so that she can present.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Adalia. Screaming Box. I'm gonna just do a little brief presentation on what we do as an agency, so you can get to know our services a little bit better. So let me just go ahead and find that. All right, so if you've never heard of Screaming Box, we're a software engineering agency, and we have engineers all around the world, Europe, South America, Mexico, US. Our office is in San Francisco, and it was founded in 2012 by 4 amazing entrepreneurs that now I get to call my boss, which is really great. And like I said, we have about 200 plus engineers of all kinds of trades. We have iOS, Android. We also do hardware, obviously software. And our focus is on making sure that we hire the top talent that we can find, right? So that's why we're not limited to a region. It's like, if you're an incredible engineer, we want you to work with us. So we have a very rigorous hiring process with very great homework challenges. We also have a way to filter our engineers that are really great to work with, not only talented in the engineering aspect, but of course, like having amazing communication, really great working styles. And what we do is we actually have them take working styles test. So it kind of let us know how they like to interact with people. And then what we do is when we have a company that's looking for engineers, we actually match them based on those working styles to make sure that it's a seamless integration to their team. So we do focus with startups, with R&D labs, SMBs, all the way to enterprise companies. So we take all kinds of projects. And here's a little bit about our services. So basically, if it's digital, we can do it, right? So we do UX design, we do IoT, we do web development, we do mobile development, and we are licensed or available to work with European companies too, because we are GDPR compliant. And I think one of the greatest strengths that Screaming Box has, it's kind of like build your own box. So like sometimes if you're a startup and you already have your team, but maybe you might not have a specific skill set, right? You are not going to have the money to hire a full-time person to come join your team, but you can hire us to come fill in that need. We also do, our main focus is like team extension. If you need a small team, it's flexible, 1+ people to come and support your project to make it come to fruition. So I'll talk a little bit about 2 different projects that we've had recently. That way you kind of can get an idea of what kind of projects we might have. So for example, we have Sunport. They're in the solar energy, and what it is basically a plug that you plug into your wall, and then you're able to access solar energy instead of gas energy through this. So what they needed was their first mobile app to integrate the hardware with the software so that users can manage their power usage remotely, right? So we worked on this for 2 years with 4 engineers, and we were able to build iOS app, Android. We also built in their store so that people can purchase the devices and they would be able to be paid. Obviously, that's a big part of it. And we continuously work with them. They're very happy with our work. So we're still involved continuously on doing a lot of their releases and whatnot. So this project is cool because it showcases a lot of our different skills. So you could see the hardware and software connection because we have engineers in those realms, and we also have web and mobile in this project, which is really cool. The other project example that we have is Scava. So they actually work against people stealing intellectual property. So if you know, that's a kind of really big deal. Like for example, in like 2017, like Netflix got hacked and all of the information was gonna be released early. So one example, it's like Orange is New Black. It was gonna come out and a hacker stole the data, stole their show because they were not protected very well. And they had a ransom and they said, hey, Netflix, give us X amount of money or we're going to release this show early. Netflix, of course, didn't budge. And then what happened is that the hacker leaked the videos of the show before the release date. So this is a big issue, you know, in the world, especially now that everything is done. We're just on our computer and we share so much art and intellectual property this way. So we worked on doing encryption algorithms for them. We also worked on the UX design and flows for them to create their MVP. So this MVP is something that they're using now to get their first rounds of funding. And they've enjoyed working so much with us that they're going to continue working with us as soon as they get their funding. So yeah, it's super cool project. It's really exciting field as well. And yeah, we worked on, we built their MVP in 6 months with 6 engineers, which that was really cool. All right, so here's my contact info. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions. I'll also be here on the networking event afterwards. And if you want to learn more about Streaming Box, here are some places you can follow us. And we're very excited to meet the winners of the Founders Live and get to know you guys and help with any kinds of needs you have. So thank you.
So I have one thing that, so obviously I'm a partner with you guys. And one thing I really like about you guys is that you guys go for great matches. So like, even like, you guys aren't going to work with everybody, which I like. You guys, like, when you're like, oh, who's a good person? Like, well, our engineers, they're freelancers not because they can't get a job, it's because they want to be freelancers and they want to work on really cool projects that they want to work on. And I thought that was really great that they're not looking for a job. They're not looking for they're not just looking for any. They're looking for people that are looking for great engineers that have really interesting projects, and then they pair them up and they do. So I think that's a really great way to go about it. So I just wanted to make that, highlight that.
Yeah, thanks for highlighting that. I mean, I didn't go into it too much, but all engineers basically already have a job. They're already tech leads, they're already senior engineers, they're already running companies, right? But they're so passionate about coding. These people work like 60 hours a week. And I've met them and I'm like, you're so amazing. How do you have so much energy to continue coding? It's like, well, the projects are so cool and this is my passion, right? So we always tell people, it's not about, we don't just assign projects. We say, hey, we have this really interesting project. Who's interested? and people come up and they're like, wow, that sounds amazing. I've worked in this field, or, this is how I can contribute. So you could really feel the passion and energy of all of the engineers, which is really cool.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And we love having you guys as a partner on our platform, and we hope to keep on working together. And yeah, we'll see you in the networking afterwards.
For sure. Bye.
Thank you, Dahlia. Bye.
This is my test. This is when I get to see if I can put screens on the, see if I can screen share. I'm just kidding. And I can, yay. So I want to talk about some other sponsors we have. We have AWS, 5,000 credits for all the presenters, and then the winners do get 10,000. And then Google Cloud for startups, 3,000, and then the opportunity to get 100,000. So that's awesome. I mean, Google and AWS have been great partners to Founders Live. And then my favorite one, the Startup Bootcamp. So I only asked Phil like 2 days ago. I'm like, hey, do you have time to say Allison? That's like last minute. But he's like, you got this. You're like my mascot. So I was like, you're right. So I got to know Phil it was still when we were in person. So it had to have been November 2019. I attended his event. It was a whole weekend. And I mean, it was the best investment. I mean, I met tons of founders I'm still friends with. It was right when I took that leap of faith where I was like, oh, I'm going to quit my job. So then I was like, oh, I'm going to sign up for this boot camp. And it was great. And now I really am impressed with Phil. So I actually attend each one of his weekends. And he's like, Allison, are you sure you still want to come? Like, you probably know the material pretty well. Now I'm like, it's not about the material. Of course, I do know it, but it's about the people you meet there. It's about I meet tons of VCs. And I mean, it's a great time. I mean, if anybody that knows me, I'm not somebody that will sit down. I have severe ADHD, but it's such a well put together weekend that I'm like, yeah, this is cool. You know what I mean? It has a good flow to it. Everybody's really interesting. Every person he brings on is phenomenal. And then I get to listen to all these different startups. So the winner of this pitch competition will not only get one ticket, but since we all know it takes a co-founder, you should always do stuff as a co-founder. So he's like, well, I'm going to give the winning team 2 tickets to it's this weekend. Hopefully you can make it, but definitely worth it. And then for all the audience, anybody that wants to attend the event, just use the code. It's 15% off, and you just put live as the code, and I will share that information with everybody so that you guys can check them out. And then
thanks, Allison.
Perfect.
While you transition out of that, we are about to get started with our pitches tonight. So everyone get really, really excited. Do a at-home round of applause. What we're going to start off, or Allison, would you like to introduce?
Yeah, we forgot our most important thing. We get to hear from Nick. How could we ever forget that?
I know, right? Please.
Yeah, like, I mean,
let's hear from Nick.
That's like the best part of the whole show, his 2-minute video. Here, I will play it right now, but it is really good. And Nick is awesome. And I truly, he normally probably would have stepped in, but he's like, Allison, you got this. But here you go. Here's Nick.
Founders Live is the global venue for modern entrepreneurs, especially during these very challenging times. The direct impact of COVID-19 is currently being felt around the world, and it could get worse before it gets better. We are here to help you through these challenging times by connecting you to the people, information, and resources meant to move you forward as you start your next project.
We see an opportunity to bring the resources and capital and connections to the people that need it and the people that can use it, no matter where they live in the world. My honest opinion is, no matter what the economic climate is in the world, Founders Live can be important. In the good times, when it's booming, we're here to help grow companies and have them access capital that's flowing around the world and really be a fun, great event and global platform that powers entrepreneurship. In the tough times, we actually think we can be the answer, given the fact that if people are actually getting laid off and unemployment starts rising, well, the choice to start their own business is front and center, and Founders Live is right there to help them grow. I believe the secret sauce of Founders Live lies in the combination of these 3 words: inspiration, education, and entertainment. Inspiration is rooted in the energy and the passion that every single attendee has. The education is the information that we're bringing to people that they otherwise couldn't find. Founders Live Online helps solve entrepreneurs' daily challenges. If you have a question that you're just wondering, like, I don't know what to do here, you simply need to just type it into Founders Live and someone else will answer it right there for you. And the entertainment is the fun. We believe business should be fun, we believe it should be casual, and we believe it should be inspirational. Founders Live is the perfect place for you to connect with other entrepreneurs and to be inspired.
Awesome. Well, I'm so sorry. I almost missed Nick's intro here. But I am. I know. I'm just so excited for these incredible founders to pitch tonight. So without further ado, I think we're going to go ahead and get started with our first founder. Let's see here. So first, we're going to start off with Matthew Karsten with Purple Scroll.
Hey, Joy. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much for the invitation here to Founders Live. After hearing just a few of the speakers and hearing you guys, it's so reassuring to know as a founder that there's people who have gone through this before, that it sounds familiar, it sounds like we're in the right place, and that they know what we're going through. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Matthew Karsten. I'm the founder and CEO of Purple Squirrel Media. What is a purple squirrel? A purple squirrel is someone with all the right qualifications, education, and experience to make amazing things happen in their community, much like the people you see on your screen right now. Purple Squirrel is launching an application. It is a video and audio streaming application for the content creators to allow them to monetize, distribute, and engage new audiences like never before, interactive television. This is new, it's innovative, it's something you've never seen before. So let's take this journey together.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Matthew. All right. Okay. So I don't think we're doing slides for you, right?
We can do a slide. I got a video, whatever you need. But this will, I think, clear it up. Let's do a screen share.
Okay.
And
let me get the timer ready. Wait, ready?
No, never mind. We're not going to do a screen share. It's going to kick me out.
Okay. No, that's okay. It's going to kick you out, but don't worry about it. We can actually see it over here. So
very good. So
yeah.
The coolest part about Purple Squirrel is that just like tonight, we don't go live on just one app. We don't stream to one location. It's no longer just going live on Facebook or YouTube or TikTok. You really want to reach your audience where they are. So Purple Squirrel allows you to broadcast to all your socials at the same time and be in full control of what's happening on the screen, everything from the graphic overlays, the title screens, chatting with multiple people at the same time, the text overlay, and being able to do it all from your mobile phone. So you have the power of a broadcast television station in your pocket.
Awesome. Well, you crushed that 99-second pitch there. So we're going to
Video would have made it exactly 99 seconds, I promise. Right on cue.
That's amazing. You did it to a T. So we're actually going to take some questions here, I believe. First off, we'll start with this. So what's the exact target market?
The target market. So let me tell you how Purple Squirrel started. It really started back when COVID started, when most people were going towards online to adjust their business model. So that meant they were asking for PayPal donations. They were trying things like paywall tools or trying to even up their subscription services to hopefully have more tools to be able to reach their audience. And my response to that was, hey, well, why don't you go OTT and broadcast? That way you're publishing on your own platform and sharing with social media. So at the end of the day, you own the content and you can use that content and that data to grow your business and make informed decisions.
Got it. Thank you.
Does that even answer the question? What do you need from the audience?
Yeah, no, but we'll just jump right into this one.
What do you need from the audience and what do you want to be intro to? Well, hearing Alex speak, I really resonated with that. So thank you very much, Alex, just to hear that the way that I work and the way that I like to meet people and do things and source talent is something that the best and the brightest do. And I feel like it's been super successful finding many teams from all over the world, especially in Latin America. The design team, the talent down in Colombia is amazing. A lot of my team is based down there. What do I need from the audience? A big round of applause, lots of emails, friendly messages go a long way. And just support the people you see here on your screen, because I 100% believe in what they're doing. Joy is the one who got me started in this mess to begin with. I'm forever grateful for that. As well as they're entrepreneurs, they're dreamers, they're founders. These people really do believe in what they're bringing to the table, and it's going to make a big difference.
Thank you so much, Matthew. We'll see if we have any questions from the audience. It looks like people are a little shy today. No worries. We'll just jump in with one more. So tell us about your business model.
So my business model, it's a diverse and inclusive direct-to-consumer platform. So what does that mean? Diverse and inclusive mean we offer unbiased access to an entire ecosystem of custom platforms, startups that previously you didn't have access to. You had to be, know somebody to know somebody, or be part of an enterprise solution to even be aware of these tools. And now that there's customer-facing tools that are no longer exclusively enterprise, people need to be aware of them. They need to learn how to access them. They need to learn how to use them, and then apply them to their businesses so that they can see the benefits of what's available on the market today and tomorrow.
Got it. Well, I think we actually have our first question, Matthew. So I'm going to go ahead and ask it. So how do you streamline the content?
How do you streamline the content? So the exact word for it, or the industry term, is like multicast or simulcast. So from one destination that you publish, you'll distribute the content across all of your desired social media platforms or OTT platforms, or your web or RTMP or any app. It really is a solution to where you see the who, what, when, where, why. You get to be the Facebook of it all, or the Netflix, and really start to grow that first party data so that you can make informed businesses for your specific network.
Wow, that's super interesting. I actually do think we have one more question that I would love to ask you here. So how are you different from StreamYard?
So StreamYard is a platform for streaming or broadcasting. Purple Squirrel is exclusive because it will be from a mobile application. It'll be one of the very first mobile applications where you can multicast, simulcast to multiple socials at the same time, as well as other OTT platforms. So if you would equate it to like a Vimeo OTT, the big difference with Purple Squirrel from the business standpoint is that even with Vimeo Enterprise, they don't offer AVOD as a solution or advertising solutions. Purple Squirrel has a proprietary advertising technology where instead of running over top of the content and having like a skip ad feature, it'll split the screen and it'll run side by side next to the content with no skip ad feature. And the content creator chooses the ad that runs on their content. Does that make sense?
That's a lot of information for sure. But I think you did answer the question. Well, regardless, Matthew, it was so great to have you here today. I really appreciate it.
I'm honored. Joy, thank you so much. Absolutely. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Purple Squirrel Media, guys, if you're voting for him, remember the name. Okay.
Let's be squirrel friends, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Matthew. So we're going to go ahead and transition right into our next founder, Elena. How's it going, Elena?
It's great. Thanks so much for having me, Joy.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, as you know, it's going to be a 99-second pitch. Are you ready for it?
I am ready.
Okay, well, let's see if we can pull up everything here. There you go. Okay,
So,
let me get the timer ready here, and I'll let you know when to go, okay? We'll do a countdown for this one, okay? 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Alana Galen, CEO and co-founder of Decavesa, where we make fun out of work. So let's play a little game. Please write your responses in the chat. So what percentage of information is forgotten if it's not reinforced? Do you think it's 50%, 90, or 70%? Give you a few seconds. If you said 90%, you would be correct. So on average, we need to hear and see something 4 times before it actually sticks. That's why advertisers run the same announcement like 100 times and you see it so often. Now, companies spend $366 billion in the US alone on training and trying to engage employees, and rightfully so. So much money is lost if it's not done properly. But our tools aren't working. And we know this because 70 million people self-reported feeling disengaged. And on top of that, capturing attention is even harder now than it was in a pre-COVID environment. We're all zoomed out, including myself. Like Allison, I also have a very difficult time paying attention, and we simply need better tools. So that's why we created Database. We turn communications, training, meetings into live interactive games. Think like Jeopardy, where everyone, hundreds if not thousands of people, can all play at once. And we provide the platform to deliver these memorable, customizable, super fun experiences that reinforce knowledge. The best part is that people actually enjoy it. We already have paying clients like Coca-Cola, Nanan, Fred Hutch Pharmacy, paying for the tools, and have learned a ton from all of our pilot partners, including Dell, AB InBev, HP, Google, and others. So,
Okay, we're at time. We're at time. I hope you didn't have too much to say. It looks like this is the last slide.
That's it.
Might have made it awesome. Great. All right. Well, let's just kick it off with some questions from the audience. Well, first of all, I want to say that people were responding to your first question about what percent of people retain the information. I believe that was the question. And someone wrote, "I already forgot." So clearly, we found no problem. Clearly, we found no problem there. So did I. So, but I think we do have our first question here. So, which game on your platform do users like the most?
Trivia. So the core is trivia, and people love it because it's so flexible. You can make trivia questions about anything, and people love it. It's a format. I mean, Jeopardy was the longest running game show of all time. I'm going to stop the screen because there we go. Little George Costanza is tracking. And it's a format everyone's used to. So super flexible, super useful. The data behind the trivia games is really valuable because the companies also know exactly what people remember and what they don't, and what kind of things need to be reinforced.
Awesome. I think we have our next question up here. You knew it was coming. So what do you need from the audience, and who do you want to be introed to? Great question.
Thank you. Yeah, we would love to be introduced to companies with large and widespread teams, specifically sales teams. We've seen that being our tools being really, really powerful with them because there's always new information. I myself was a sales leader and know the pain of trying to keep a big workforce up to date on the latest products, services, case studies, and so forth. And people are really competitive, so this works super well.
Awesome. All right, I have another one for you. So what is the initial go-to-market strategy?
So initially we started with founder-led sales. Helps that my co-founder and I have had a lot of experience with companies like Coca-Cola that could use the platform. And beyond this, we've actually partnered with a handful of learning platforms. So all these learning platforms know that they need to deliver content and information in a way that's actually fun. And most of them, even though they say they gamify things, it's like, okay, great, you did the modules. Here's like a digital gold star that you can't do anything with. Like, it's not a game. Like, the stuff is not fun. It's like a DMV kind of situation. And so through these partnerships, we've been able to reach more clients that are a great fit.
Awesome. Well, I know you can see the next question here. Is this a platform that integrates into Zoom? If so, how or what is a better way to understand the product?
So right now, we used to be an app, and then after working with so many companies, we realized we needed to have a web-based solution. So we just launched a web-based solution this month, actually, which we're very excited about, which means companies, similar to opening up a Zoom link, they just open up a link and then find their channel, is what we're calling them, and that's where they play the game. We're thinking about Zoom integrations. Right now, it's pretty simple to just click on a link, and people actually like that it's separate than Zoom because Zoom has a different feeling and tone, and this is like colorful, it has sounds, really feels like a game. So yeah, so web-based, so you can play on your phone or your computer.
Awesome. So my next question is, what are some goals for 2021?
Increase revenue by 100x.
Awesome.
It's already been growing. I mean, the last 2 months have been 3x, which is a huge achievement for us, and we're really excited about that. And we know we can do more and keep building the product, more types of games, more integrations, making it easier and fun for people to play, is the biggest goal.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Joy.
For being here. And guys, remember the name Dekabesa. I don't think you can forget that one. I know it's fun to say, right? Well, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and transition into our next founder that will be pitching. And that is going to be, actually, I think we're going to do a friendly mask video.
Yeah.
All right, Allison.
Yeah, give me a second. It is.
Hi, everyone. My name's Ash Bhupathi. I'm from the founder at Friendly Face. We make personalized masks from your selfies. So cases are higher than ever. We really think it's important for everyone to stay safe and to continue to wear a mask. Yes, the vaccine is on its way, and we're really excited about that, but we're still going to have to wear a mask until we have herd immunity. So please go out, do the right thing, wear a mask for yourself and for your neighbors and for your family and for your friends. We would be honored if you were to wear our mask. You can buy them at www.friendlyface.com, or you can find them on the iOS App Store by just searching Friendly Face. Thanks very much and stay safe out there.
Well, that was a friendly message. Friendly mask. So, I mean, great point there. We all need to be staying safe, and what better way to do that than with fun masks? All right. So, our next founder pitching will be Dalton with Goldgate. Apologies. Let me pull everything up so everyone knows the name. Awesome.
All right.
Dalton, how's it going?
Everything is going great. Give me 1 sec. I'm just going to pull up my presentation and let me know once we're ready to go.
Yes, I will. All right. I'll give you a countdown as well if that works for you. Do you like
that? Works for me.
Okay, we'll start from 3. So 3, 2, 1, go.
So thank you for letting me introduce Goldgate. There are 30 million homes in the United States and in Europe that are only lived in for 4 to 6 weeks out of the year. That means that 88% of the time, these homes are sitting there burning energy and burning money. In addition, as you might all be aware of, there has never been more people looking for second, third, and fourth homes than there is right now during the pandemic. So there's a huge amount of supply of empty homes and a huge amount of demand for buyers. So how do we address these two large opportunities? Our solution, Goldgate, is an online platform that helps high net worth individuals buy and sell specific months in the world's most exclusive luxury real estate for personal use and financial benefit. The idea is that rather than buy 1 second home that will only be lived in for 4 to 6 weeks out of the year, clients of Goldgate can buy multiple second homes throughout the world for the same total price or less. Our process is simple. First, what we do is we gather data from our buyers, knowing where they want to live and which months that they want to live there and what their budget is. Next, we use data analytics and machine learning to match investors with specific properties. Once we have a commitments for all 12 months in one property, we syndicate the necessary funds, acquire the property, and earn our 5% success fee. After we have acquired the property, what we do is we then issue 12 digital shares via the blockchain, one for each month that investors can then sell in the future on our secondary marketplace when they are done living that specific lifestyle. Over the next 3 months, we are going to market with our new MVP, gathering buyer data and commitments, and we'll be raising our seed round in Q2 2021. If you are looking for your next second home, you have come to the right place.
Awesome. Way to go. I think you were just 1 second over. Awesome. Well, guys, a round of applause for Dalton. If you haven't checked out his website, you totally should. It's actually pretty amazing. It looks really cool too. But thank you, Dalton. Let's kick it off with some questions here.
Thank you, Joy.
So I will be the first today. So let's see here. We'll start with this one again, because I think this is an important one to ask.
I love this question too, because what we need introductions to is people that everybody knows someone that wants to own a second home as well. And so, for instance, you might have somebody that's looking to spend, let's say, $1 million on their next second home, rather than them go out and spend $1 million on a home that they're only going to be in for 1 or 2 months out of the year. Why not have them spend that $1 million and buy 3 months in a $4 million home? So anybody that you know that's looking to buy their next second home, we can help out with them.
Awesome. A similar question here. What is your business model?
Yeah, so our business model for how we produce revenue, it's actually very simple. As again, we just gather data from our buyers and we ask them very fun questions. Where do you want to live, and which months do you want to live there, and what is your budget? And so we do that with a lot of high net worth individuals, crypto millionaires, social media influencers, CEOs, etc. Once we've matched people with a specific property, again, the smallest property that we acquire is a $5 million property, and we go up from there. So the minimum revenue stream per syndication is $250,000. And so it's as simple as gathering that data and using the analytics to get commitments.
Yeah. Awesome. And for revenue, where are you guys at in revenue to date?
So right now we're pre-revenue, and so we ended up raising money from angel investors, from For Family and Friends in January, brought them some new team members, and now we have a new go-to-market and sales and marketing strategy that we're implementing over the next 3 months, and then we'll either be joining an accelerator program or raising money for our seed round in Q2.
Awesome. Well, audience, if you know of any accelerators that you'd like to recommend, feel free to drop them in the comments below. We have another question here from the audience, actually. What is your competitive advantage?
So that's a great question, because our biggest competitor is a company called Pacaso, P-A-C-A-S-A-S-O. They're owned and operated by the ex-Zillow CEO. He went out and started his fractional real estate ownership company last year. And it's been such a blessing because we have a lot of advantages over them. The first advantage is that our fees. So if you want to acquire a property with them, it's going to cost you over a 10% acquisition fee. And when you want to sell with them, it's going to cost 6%. So if you want to break even on your investment, you need that property to appreciate by 17%. We have a 5% buyer acquisition fee and a 0% selling fee. So our fees are better than our competitor. We have a higher property usage than our competitor, and we have a higher probability of liquidity than our competitor. Those are the 3 main reasons.
Awesome. Well, I definitely think you answered that. Awesome. So I guess my next question would be, what are some of your goals for 2021?
So our goals for 2021 are to build traction, go to market with our product, test, measure, and improve, and learn from our customers, raise some more money in Q2, and have our first closings in Q2 and Q3. So the biggest things is, building traction, raising money, and closing some properties.
Awesome. Well, I hope we can be a part of that. Thank you so much, Dalton, for being here today. Everyone, remember the name Gold Gate. If you're going to be voting at the end of this, show some love. Thank you, Dalton. All right. So for our next presenter, we have Cam Turney.
Hello.
Hey, Cam. How's it going?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well. Well, give yourself an intro.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm Cam Turney. I'm the CEO and owner of Tastemaker Group, Sonic branding company that I'm excited to tell you guys about. So, yeah, that's kind of the only intro I have right now. I was excited to tell you more about it.
Yeah, let me get your timer ready.
All right. 1 second here. Let me get my screen.
I don't know if you have a preference for how you like to be counted down, but I'm going to stick with the 3, 2, 1.
I was gonna ask, do you mind if you just go kind of off the first screen when I switch my first screen?
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and add it to the screen here. There we go. All right. So whenever you flip it to the next screen.
Yes. Are you able to see everything?
Yes, I can see it now.
Perfect. All righty. So This is Average Joe. Yes, his name is Joe. You can't make this up. This is a true story. Average Joe had a decent job, but it wasn't fulfilling. And like many of us, he had a passion. And that passion was to be a rap star. Now, Joe called me one day because he lost his job. Hey, man, I lost my job. I don't know what to do. With no connection, no knowledge of the music industry, who else would he call, right? Like, I'm Cam the Tastemaker. So I gave him the game, and he laughed at me a little bit. But little did he know, and just in the next year, I would put him on 2 tours, a U.S. tour and a 6-country European tour. He became international, Jay. He was able to sell merch to people he didn't even know and visit cities that he still can't pronounce. But the pandemic hit, and after that, South by Southwest and a lot of years of our plans were canceled. But the artists that I work with were still doing well. And so I thought about it, and I said, if you guys pay me up front, I can provide the services for you. It's kind of like renting a record label. Ding! Rent a record label, right? We're a subscription-based record label that allows artists to keep all of their ownership. By unlocking the music business, by allowing them and connecting the industry to the artists and the artists to the people, we're able to grow and nurture a fan base using our crowd stereo, which is our proprietary software. I've recruited a team full of experts led by our big three, Nick Spallucci, Ryan Kano, and Taylor Swift's former manager, Rick Barker. 1,500 artists are registered right now as independents, and 50 of them are registered on our wait list currently. We want to turn Average Joe into International J at rentalrecordlabel.com.
Woo, good job. Awesome. Thank you, Cam. Let me just move this so I can get closer to you. That was super, super interesting. I truly have never seen anything like that. And I'm being honest. I love it. I love it. Yeah, well, let's kick it off with some questions. Looks like the audience is still being shy. Come on, audience. Let's ask some questions for Cam, okay? I know I have great questions, but I want to hear yours. Okay, so we'll start off with this one. What is the go-to-market strategy, Cam?
Right now, we are pre-launch, so we have a beta right now. Like I mentioned, we have 50 artists signed up right now. We will soon go ahead and launch and then go with more of like an inclusive strategy. Where artists have to invite others that they feel are viable for the service.
Awesome, awesome. Next question here.
So Rent a Record Label actually it's a subscription-based record label that allows you to keep ownership of your career. Right now, currently, it's hard for anybody in a creative space, other than like trying to sign to a record label or chasing a dream, what seems to be a dream. So what we allow you to do is subscribe to us with a certain amount of money per month. And then from that, we use that towards your career and turn you into a viable business. And so one thing that record labels or any other companies do not do is help you build an actual business. So similar to how Founders Live is helping us actually control and understand how we build our business, we're doing the same thing for creatives.
Awesome. Well, I love this question right here. Do you work with the community?
Oh, I love that. Thank you, Kay. Actually, yes, we do. This hasn't been announced yet, but we currently have a fundraising that we're doing circled around music for a school in Kyle, Texas, Wallace Middle School. So we'll be helping the students create music, put that on like Spotify, Apple Music, and then all the money that comes from that will be put into a fundraiser for the kids.
Thank you. And I think this is also an interesting question right here. So how do you manage music distribution? What is the advantage of self-producing?
Oh, I love that. Yeah, great question. And so complete ownership. Now, to answer your first question, how do you manage music distribution? We actually have a exclusive connection with the Orchard. So we have the exact same connections with every major label that you can think of. It's just that we give access to everybody that the labels do not. And so the advantage of that is you're able to keep everything that you create. And since we have the same engine to push behind you, as long as there's a good enough budget and your music's good enough, of course, right? Your music has to be good. Then self-producing, you can make a lot more money that way with only just a small amount of fans. The number one thing I tell people is if I can find you 1,000 fans that pay you $5 to $10 a month, you no longer have to have a job.
Mm-hmm. Last question here from the founder of Founders Live, Nick Hughes. What's your economic model, business model?
Great question. So actually, we do a minimum. We have a minimum amount, and then we actually keep 33%, and then the other part is used for the artist career. So like I mentioned before, it's all different levels for different people. We are kind of an amoeba. The best thing about it is you could be an artist that maybe just left a big record label and you have a budget, you just don't know and have a team to work it. So you already have a fan base. We don't have to build that. So your budget can go to the things where you have holes in your career rather than, you know, trying to build all these other things. So that's basically the it there. Now we do also provide options for artists at a lower scale, so that if you're brand new and just starting, we do with Rick Barker, who is Taylor Swift's former manager, we created an artist incubator program, just like a business incubator program. It's a year-long program. You pay a certain amount a month, and you're able to learn the business of music.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Cam. Everyone, remember Cam at the end of this if you're wanting to vote for him. Cam, give a quick shout out again.
Yes,
what's the company's name?
Cam the Tastemaker, Tastemaker Group. You can find me at Cam the Tastemaker everywhere. Rentarecordlabel.com. Please share to anybody that you know that's a creative and just hopes that they can, you know, continue to do this for their life.
Thank you, Cam.
Thank you.
All right. So for our last founder of the night that will be presenting, we have Steven Stearman. Hey, Steven, how's it going?
It's going well. How's everybody? Thank you for everything. This is go last after so many good pitches.
We saved the best for last, right? Are you ready?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my. I'll go ahead and share my screen and then pull it up.
Great. I'll get my timer ready. As you know, we have 99 seconds on the clock. All right, got it here. I'm gonna go ahead and get the timer ready. So I'll give you a 3, 2, 1 if that's all right. Everyone seems to be okay with that.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So I want everyone to meet your neighbor, Pam. She's a middle-aged woman living in a state with a medical cannabis program like Missouri and is coming around using cannabis as a medicine. She's undereducated on holistic wellness options, likely has a family doctor that doesn't approve of or can't approve cannabis, and she suffers from one of the qualifying conditions like chronic pain or insomnia. Because of her inability to obtain the appropriate certification, she's unable to have full control of her wellness journey. We all know someone who's on sleeping pills, pain medication, or SSRIs. Well, meet Elevate Holistics. So all from her phone or computer, Pam is now able to visit with a compassionate care physician in a safe, secure, and convenient environment. But most importantly, a judge-free environment. Pam can book her appointment, complete the necessary forms, and be online with the doctor in 15 minutes time. For $100, Pam can be on her way to a more natural way of living. As many of you know, cannabis has changed drastically in the last 30 years, leaving many people unsure where to start. And since a large portion of our patients are in that boat, we have a team of nurses and a pharmacist to assist with product selection, treatment plans, and concerns about adverse reactions when combining cannabis and pharmaceuticals. So who are we? We're a team of cannabis enthusiasts, technologists, serial entrepreneurs, and healthcare professionals with an obsession for a patient experience. We care deeply about the potential of the cannabis plant and helping patients reduce their consumption of pharmaceuticals. Since 2019, we've served just over 10,000 patients in Oklahoma and Missouri. In December, we opened up Arkansas, Maryland, and PA, with 3 additional markets coming online next month.
Awesome. Thank you, Steven. I'm going to stop you there, but you did a great job. Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and get this down here so I can get closer. All right, so let's open it up for some questions here. So this one. So what do you need from the audience, and who do you want to be introed to, Steven?
So from the audience, I mean, I'm really looking for mentors, advisors, partners who can really help us take the company to the next level. We work with dispensaries, doctors, you know, anybody associated with the cannabis industry is really a valuable connection for us. So that's really what we're looking for.
Thank you. And I think this is a great question as well. As you know, what is your business model?
Yeah, so the business model is essentially a patient pays us to give them the appropriate certification, and then we pay the doctor later. So we partner with dispensaries. We've built technology for dispensaries to help them better engage with their patients. You know, so one of our big channels is really catering to that market. And we really started the company with dispensaries in mind. And so how do we better cater dispensaries? How do we cater to the patients? And really generating a lot of online traffic through marketing content, webinars, Ask Me Anythings with professionals, really just to generate education and leads for the company.
Yeah, thank you. And then I think this is a great question as well. So how many states would this be currently applicable in?
Well, there are about 35 medical markets. COVID really gave us a good opportunity because telemedicine laws have really opened up. So any state that allows telemedicine appointments for medical cannabis, we're able to operate. So that would be really by the end of 2021. This year, we're really trying to be in about 20 medical markets. Currently, we're in 5 with 8, 3 more coming right around the corner.
Yeah, and you're moving fast. I know you're all over the place. You're just flying from one state to the next, getting things done. Yeah, so this question right here, how do you get new clients?
So about 40% of our customers are actually word of mouth and referrals. 25% come from dispensary relationships, and then the rest, the balance is really, owned media. We haven't even tried paid media, so we get a lot of leads from our Facebook group, and really setting up listings with partners around the states like CBD stores, and local SEO is a big strategy for us too.
Awesome. And then what tech have you implemented to help connect dispensaries with patients?
So we've done a really good job about integrating with dispensary systems. And so that's one of the big reasons why we're able to compete with some of the larger companies in the space, because we look at integrations and technology much differently than some of the other players. So when you think about loyalty programs, menus, just anything that we can essentially use to give to dispensaries to then market and grow their patient count.
Awesome. Okay, well, I think that pretty much covers it. Everyone remember the name, Elevate Holistics, if you want to vote for Steven here. Thank you so much, Steven.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for chiming in.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, Allison. So next steps here, I know we have a special guest that we would like to bring up.
We do.
Yeah, would you like to give the intro here?
Yeah, so it is Sean Flynn, and he's the one that runs my favorite podcast, actually. So it is the Silicon Valley podcast, and I absolutely love it. He's a great guy too. He's funny. I actually went and met with him when I was briefly down in Silicon Valley. We had lunch together, but he's just a great guy with tons of knowledge.
All right, well, welcome, Sean Flynn. Hey, Sean, how's it going?
Thank you for.
Here, we should tell people we're going to be doing the voting before this. So
it's time for voting, guys. Yes. So Allison is going to kind of chat with Sean while I get the votes tallied. So Allison, where can they find voting?
Is that in the link below? Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure it is. Let's just make sure here. Yeah. If it's not, no worries. You guys get started. I'll make sure I'll drop the link again.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Hey, Sean, thanks for being patient. It's great having you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It was kind of funny because it's a little chilly right here, and I actually do have a beanie that I was wearing right before this. And
we can be like beanie like sister brothers.
Well, actually, what I saw your little thing, I was like, wait a second, this is looking too familiar right there. And I took it off.
We have the same hat.
We might. And I took it off because I got it. Yeah, we do. And I was like, I got to be professional for Allison, so I'll take that off. And I took the sweatshirt off or the sweaty off, and put this on. The Silicon Valley wardrobe. Sitting next to me on the chair. So
that is so funny.
I'm a little embarrassed right now because we could have been twinsies. But Allison, ask me some questions. What do you want to know?
So I wanted to know, so you talk to a ton of VCs, you talk to a ton of startups. So I wanted to know what kind of trends are you seeing in the early stage funding?
Well, right now it's very interested, and I see that Alex Selinsky is in the audience here. I know him. I'm super excited that he's here and your audience and everyone that you're with. But no, a lot of interesting things are happening. The last few weeks, actually, this last week alone, I've had a great conversation with a couple individuals raising a new ed tech fund, and they showed me the data in the market for ed tech and all the investments in 2020 that went into other funds and capital being put in that market. And I mean, that sector is really interested in the telehealth. I mean, the last speaker here mentioned it himself. Doors are opening up. There's a lot of influx in capital I'm seeing in the cannabis market, just because there's so many investors thinking everyone's bankrupt. How are these cities going to, raise taxes? How are they going to get revenue? Cannabis could be an answer. And, with the all Democrats here, it might move a lot faster in government, not being political, but, who knows? Just everything you can think of in tech, from different platforms, so you can work at home better, you can commute remote, or conference commuting. I've seen some VR plays recently. Pitch deck sent to me of, hey, we're all going to be working remote. We're building these VR virtual rooms for everyone to collaborate, where you can move things, you can do this, making it more and more realistic. It's just kind of crazy, all the ideas that I'm seeing, both pitch decks and investors saying this is what we're interested in, or hey, we've closed out our last fund, we're raising a new fund. This new fund, we're making these little modifications on the investment thesis, and this is what we're going to be more geared towards. And I don't know, it's just an exciting time for tech. That's the best way I could put it.
What do you think that investors' appetite to make investment right now? Like how hungry are they? How are they a little bit still hesitant? How's COVID? Like, I know we got the vaccine coming. How is that all playing fold? Like, I know what last year was people were really hesitant. What do you see the upcoming year?
Well, I mean, if we look over the whole year, there was times when people were more hesitant for some. At the beginning of COVID, or talking February and March, people didn't know what was going on. People were holding back to the end of the year. But a lot of these investors, venture capitalists, they have that investment thesis mandate. I have 2 years to deploy this capital, and then, it has to grow, and then they harvest the life cycle of the fund. So if, they don't invest anything in 6 months, then they have that much they have to catch up with later. So I mean, anything that wasn't deployed then that needs to be deployed in a certain amount of time, we're going to see more of it pushed in right now. And we were seeing that towards the end of the year. I was talking to a lot of VCs that were going, hey, before I'd have 4 or 5 meetings a day, but now everything's on Zoom. It's just back to back to back to back to back. Morning to night, I'm seeing these companies, things are moving a lot quicker. And now they're actually open to do deals where they're not sitting in front of the person. They're not getting to know them. They're saying, hey, I'm actually closing deals, just never meeting the founder. It's all virtual right now, and they've become more accustomed to it. And then you have the angel investors, kind of same thing, where depend on who the angel is. I mean, every angel, I mean, you've talked to a lot of angel investors. There's those few that are, I'm an angel investor now, I'm going to deploy everything, day one. There's others that go, hey, every year I make 2 investments, in this sector that I'm familiar with, or hey, 10% of my portfolio is allocated to, risky investments, which I consider, startups. And we saw a lot of those people, their portfolios, their, money just expand with the market going up. And at first, last year when it sank, they went, oh my gosh, I have nothing. I've lost 30%. And then at the end of the year, they're like, I got a Tesla and I'm all ready to go. And I want to throw money here and there. So, and let's not, forget about all those Bitcoin people that, a while ago weren't talking, but now they're the smartest people in the world whenever you hear a conversation with them. So, I mean, just like everything, it comes and goes, but I'm seeing a lot of appetite. The conversations I'm having, and it's also the same with even the bigger players, the private equity groups that are saying, hey, we have all this money on the sideline, we want to deploy, bring us deals. So it's interesting times. I think at any stage, any of that hesitant from before, there's now excitement, and people just wanting to catch the wave for the next trends, the next things that are coming out there.
Well, one thing I gotta say about COVID is that any kind of big change is going to bring about, big innovation. So I think that, and I do think that, it was crazy how before they're like, how employees couldn't work remote. They couldn't make investment remote. So nobody could do anything remote. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, we're all good. And the life goes on, you know what I mean? Everybody's good. So I had a couple questions for you. First off, I know when I was in Silicon Valley, you were like, I was like, are people moving out of Silicon Valley? Have you noticed that?
Well, I mean, Alex, who I right at the beginning here, I said hi to, he's not in Silicon Valley anymore. Ask him where he is in the chat
Colombia.
section. Exactly. I had another buddy just moved to Puerto Rico. I had another buddy, a second buddy moved to Colombia. I've had, I can't even tell you how many of my circle have now moved to other places. And some of them at first were, hey, I'm just going to do this for a short time. I had a buddy move to Hawaii. He was there for 4 months. He's like, yeah, no, this is just temp. He's back now visiting family. But he's like, you know, I can kind of actually just move there. And that's that the mindset. It's, hey, I can move to all these places. If I have consulting clients or whatever needs to be done, I can fly in for a week and then go back out for 2 months, or fly in for a few days. I mean, right now they're not flying, but that's kind of the mindset. It went from, you know, I'll just go there, try it out, to, hey, it's actually working, to, hey, how can I make this work, to, I'm liking this. Hey, this is the new me. I'm never commuting an hour to move 2 miles in traffic again. No, I want a backyard. Like, you can't have a backyard in San Francisco. It just doesn't happen. But now people are going, I got a backyard. I got 5 bedrooms. I pay, you know, it. Yeah. I see a lot of people leaving, probably to areas where you are.
Well, I'm still traveling. I'm still in Seattle. I still haven't made it back. So I'm leaving to, I'm actually going down to Portland tomorrow, and I'm going to kind of just like see how I like it there. And like, I will slowly maybe like make my way back down at some point to Arizona. Like, just take it the long way. You know what I mean?
That's as long as your brakes work. So for everyone there, Allison was driving with a sheer brake line or something when she was in the Bay Area. So we're all lucky she's alive right now.
Wasn't great. It's all an adventure with me. But I survived it, you know? So lastly, okay, so I noticed that, like, you know, most people talk about VCs, but, you know, great point is that, you know, angel investors are, I'm not saying I don't hate, you know, VCs, but I think VCs are very, you know, they're for a specific type of entrepreneur, a specific type of startup. They're not looking for just somebody that's going to have a 3X. But now angel investors, they are, I think for the average startup, I think that they're more diversified. They have different criteria. So what's the best way to get connected with an angel investor? I mean, VCs are a little bit easier to connect with in terms of finding them. What advice do you have on terms of finding like how to connect with angel investors?
Well, I would actually say the opposite. I think angels are a lot easier to connect with than VCs. I mean, yes, VCs have a website, but you know, angels, you just type in angel groups, right? All these come up. Almost, I mean, not all, but a big portion of universities have an angel group for their alumni. So if you reach out to their alumni chair and go, hey, connect me with the angel group from, you know, Berkeley, Stanford, you know, UCS, even I went to UCSD. I even found out they have an angel group, which shocked me. But a lot of universities have angel groups. Chamber of Commerce, they have members that are angels at some other group. They'll connect you. If you go to any of these tech alumni groups, Intel alumni, you don't think you work at Intel for 20 years, that you don't have some coin in the bank. You know, that's an alumni group right there. That's all angel investors. If you have any, you know, a doctor or dentist friend, I mean, an angel investor makes $200K a year, right? If you have that VP title in front of you and you're in tech, you're an angel investor. You may not claim it, but you hit
your
that
potential,
criteria.
at least.
Yeah. So when people say, hey, it's hard to connect with angels, it's really like, no, did you really not just think of who angels really are and your network and your LinkedIn? I mean, one angel on LinkedIn is probably connected to 50 other angels just through first or secondary connection. So ask them, hey, can you make a warm intro to so-and-so, who then makes a warm intro to so-and-so? So just between like a couple angel groups that have websites online, the university alumni, your network on LinkedIn, you probably already have 100 people in your network that you can reach out to and have a conversation with. And that's great practice for when you go in front of VCs. I mean, it's just starting blocks. And, you know, you'd mentioned before, you know, VCs aren't for everyone. It's because they have this investment thesis, right? Like the company has to have a certain amount of revenue. They have to have us, you know, hit these milestones before we can invest, because this is what the money we raised on. This is what it says, what we can do with it, what we can't do with it.
Yeah, it's not their money. It's, you know, they have their LPs, you know.
Exactly. So, oh, Joy's back.
I have some exciting news to share, but thank you so much, Sean.
Oh, okay. Lastly, okay, we got to talk about his podcast. Okay, so it's the absolute best podcast besides Nick's podcast, because that one's really good too. And by the way, Nick still wants to be on that podcast. Me and Nick would love to be on that podcast together. He was like, Allison, remind him that I'm totally interested.
Oh, on your visit to Silicon Valley, I mean, carpool here together in a safe car, and we'll make it happen.
Dude, he's not even in I'm going down to Portland, and he's like going down to Miami, I think.
Well, I mean, he's in every city every other week, so it's just
right. He just flies around.
Let me find a link for it, and I'll put it in the chat for everyone. But yeah, the podcast is the Silicon Valley Podcast. I've interviewed some big names. Co-founder of Square, Jim McKelvey, Melanie Perkins, co-founder of Canva, founder of Rotten Tomatoes, founder of Juniper Networks. The list goes on and on.
Lots of VCs as well.
Lots of VCs. You'll get a ton of knowledge from it. I mean, there's 80 plus episodes out there. And in 2 months from now, we're rebranding, relaunching. It's going to be Silicon Valley Live. I got an amazing partner working with me on this. And there's going to be a lot of great updates. One of them is I just had a conversation with the Intel alumni group. We're going to work with them. And I mean, they got some heavy hitters. So there's going to be a lot of great content for everyone.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Ping me on it. Put everything that you ever post onto our community. We love your content.
Thank you. Will do. All right. I'll let you guys do it.
Yeah, I know you gotta go somewhere else. Oh yeah.
Who's the winner? Thank you. Awesome. Okay, so we are ready to announce the winner for today's pitch competition, the first of 2021. Everyone, please at your house. And the winner is De Cabeza. Let me bring
it. Yay!
Yay! Thank you.
We got
Congrats
behind you cheering, right?
Yes.
Is that your doggy?
Yeah.
It's not mine. It's my neighbor's dog.
Oh, your neighbor's dog.
She's just excited for you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So we do want to open it up for just an interview with you. You're the winner of our first event. So we'll start with some questions. So I guess the first one would be, we talked about some goals that you guys have for 2021. We're seeing some congrats from the audience. Congratulations. What are some other plans you have for De Cabeza that you didn't talk about today?
So some of the plans are integrating it with other platforms. So making it really easy to launch from Zoom, maybe even something like StreamYard, and adding in all sorts of capabilities. Like even when I was listening to, Purple Squirrel, it's like, okay, they have so many fancy things that we can add to video streams to make the tools we've built and the interactive gaming layers just more fun and better. So on the product side, definitely that. And then on the business side, just getting it in more people's hands. There's nothing better than having people actually use what we've built. So as much of that as humanly possible.
Yeah. Are you guys hiring right now?
We are hiring. We are looking for a back-end developer. We are looking for somebody to help with sales. It's really just been me. So we can use a lot. We can use a lot of help with that. And then, hopefully we'll keep growing from there. Oh, and UX support. So really excited to talk to Idalia about that because we need it. Yeah.
Right. Feel free to share the application links or whatever here in this chat. I'm sure there's a lot of people interested here that's watching today. But yeah, Allison, do you want to share what she's actually won today?
Well, yeah. So it's all the things that you have. So it's like you got the $10,000 for AWS. You got the 5,000. You got the 3,000 for Google startups. You have all the presenters are going to get to meet with Alex. And then you also have the 16 hours with the Screaming Box. And then I think there's one more. I'm pretty sure that there's one more taking us. It's a new one. I think those are pretty much it. Oh, and you also get to be on Nick's podcast.
Oh,
great.
Yeah.
Great for
Incredible.
marketing, right? That's what you're looking to do. That's the goals we just talked about. So there you go. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Alana.
Join us for the after party, so people are going to get to ask you questions.
Right. Yeah. So we're gonna have a networking event following this. Let's see if we have the link here. If not, we'll go ahead and drop that. Actually, here it is. I'll go ahead and drop it right now in the chats, guys. In the chat. If you guys are interested in staying back, hanging out with us, and asking some more questions for De Cabeza, right, guys? Awesome. Well, I'm going to go ahead and leave it to Allison to close us out today. It was so amazing having you guys all here for the first Founders Live event for 2021. My first event that I've ever held for Founders Live, so I'm just so thrilled that I can be a part of this organization and lead the Austin community and all of our startups here. So if you guys have anything that you'd like to see for the next Founders Live that we have I think it's what is it, April, at the end of April, guys. I don't even know what month it is right now. Then drop some comments here if you guys have anything you'd like to see, if any sort of interviews that you're interested in hearing. And I look to see you guys very soon.
Yeah, and let's all meet up in the networking. The link is sure. Do you want to share that?
I did drop it here, but here it's on the
perfect.
side.
Awesome. But yeah, thanks for having me on. This was a lot of fun. It was my first event actually hosting. I'll typically do that, but it was a lot of fun. Big learning curve, but absolutely. I can only get better from here, right?
Well, thank you so much for being here, Allison, and we'll all jump into the networking event. See you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.